Are you considering an MX Series Kubota tractor? Well, today we're going to break down all the different models, options, and features of those. Hey guys, Zach here from Kubota of Lynchburg, and today I wanted to break down the three Kubota MX Series tractors. So with me, we have the MX5400, 5400, and 6000. And we're gonna go over kind of the specs, the features, the options, why you might want one, what you can do with it, and which one maybe you should go with. So I've got all the variations here, but let's start with some just basic specs, get those out of the way. So the engine horsepower, so you know the first two digits usually give you roughly your horsepower. So on an MX4900, it's gonna be 49 horsepower, the 5400, 54 horsepower, the 6000, 60 horsepower. Now the nice thing about Kubota is how well they design their transmissions to transmit engine horsepower to PTO. So these have just over 41 horsepower at the PTO, so you lose roughly 8 or 9 horsepower in the PTO, which is really good. This one is about 46 to 47, and that one's about 51. For a 60 horsepower tractor to have 51 at the PTO, that is really nice for pulling those heavy implements and heavy bush hogs. So the 4900, while it has a roughly 49 horsepower engine, all of these are 4-cylinder turbocharged engines, so you get a ton of power out of it. We call these utility tractors for a reason. They're not big farm tractors, but they're not small tractors for around a small property either. And one of the reasons you might want to get one of these tractors is due to the actual size and weight of it. While it still has a 6-year powertrain warranty, being a utility tractor, and really good financing compared to some of the larger agricultural tractors. And it's a little bit smaller than an agricultural tractor, so it's easy to maneuver and everything like that. So these engines can put out a ton of power for most any project you're going to need to get done, whether it's construction, landscaping, or just homeowner small property use. So the 4900 can come in a cab or an open station version. So this would be open station, this would be cab. You can get it in a gear drive or a hydrostatic transmission in both options. So you can get a 49 horsepower cab tractor with a loader that picks up over 2,500 pounds for a very affordable price, which is why Kubota came out with the 4900 to fit that model where you might not need a 60 horsepower tractor. You can save a couple $1,000s, get a 49 horsepower, but get the same frame, the same transmission options, the same loader options and everything like that to it. So the 5400 is a good in-between where you say, I want something a little over 50, maybe not all the way to 60, save a little bit money. And then the 6000 is just the biggest utility tractor we sell. Now in the 6000, you can only get a hydrostat transmission. So if you would like a gear drive transmission, you'd have to choose a 4900 or a 5400. 6000 is hydrostat only. So speaking of transmissions, what transmissions options do we have? So we're gonna take a look at this one first. And Lee, if you wanna come around, we're gonna look. We have a gear drive transmission to show you guys on this one. What that means is it's your good old classic tractor. You shift, you clutch, you choose your gears. It's 8 gears forward and 8 gears reverse. So there's 4 of them here, and then you have a high and a low range. If you want to come in, I'll show them. So when you're shifting and clutching, we'll see if this shows. You can shift 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got your high and your low range back there for it. And then of course forward and reverse. Now a lot of times people are used to forward and reverse being a shuttle shift here on the steering column. On this one, it's very nice and easy right next to your hand for a forward and reverse. And then as we get into the operator station, you have your normal clutch here, of course. So clutch in, shifting, and you have your brake pedals on the other side. Over here is something really nice on the MX series. We have our PTO button. This is, honestly, all the gear drive MXs, they look exactly like this, but this is to turn your rear PTO on and off. So it's on, it's off. You don't have to clutch for it. It's got its own clutch pack and everything too. You do not have to clutch. You can just turn it on and off anytime. I recommend being at least half throttle or lower when you do it. Otherwise, it's going to put a lot of strain on your implement and your bush hog. So just keep your RPMs around 2,000 or so, or a little bit less when you're, engaging and disengaging for just overall general use of the tractor. The operator station here is very comfortable. So I've got a suspension seat that I'm sitting on, so it's comfy. You can add armrests, and not standard on there. Some people think they get in the way. Some people are too large or too small for armrests, but you do have the option to add it on. You've got your hydraulic control stick here, and on a Hydrostat, we'll show you guys that in a minute, you've got your other Hydrostat pedal and everything like that, and cruise control up here. But it's open, it's wide, you have this nice rubber floor mat, plenty of room. I'm 5'11", not quite 6 foot unfortunately, but I'm 5'11", but I've got plenty of room here, and the seat does slide back and forth, and the suspension on it is adjustable. So for a utility tractor, lots of bang for medium buck is what I'll call a utility tractor on this one. You get a lot of comfort to it. And if we look at the rear of the tractor, we're going to see some of my favorite features on these tractors, which is going to be telescoping features. So it's going to be easy to take on and off implements. So we have our telescoping lower link arms. So if you backed up to your bush hog and the pin is sitting here and you go, ah crap, I gotta back up another couple inches. Well, that's not true. You just adjust that out, and then as you drive forward or back, it'll click itself back in. Very nice feature on 3-point hitches. The standard L series doesn't have this, the MX series does. You also have telescoping stabilizers, way better than the turnbuckle style, so it's a lot easier to adjust here and there. Standard top link, standard nice drawbar, sticks way out, which is really good for pulling trailers and other implements. It's not tucked up underneath. And of course, your standard 6-spline PTO. While we're back here, you can see there's different tire options. There's even more than this. I actually just sold an MX with turf tires. It's for a golf course, but you have turf tires. You've got the industrial tires. You've got agricultural tire options, and you have R14 hybrids on these, which is my personal favorite. Maybe that's why we don't have them out here, because we sell all of them with R14s, just kidding. But there's different tire options depending on your application. So let's go to the back of the MX5400 cab. So we can see the 3-point hitch is exactly the same, but you have windshield washer fluid, which is really nice. Let me say as well on these, you can always add rear remotes or rear trailer connectors if you run in hay equipment. It's very easy to add rear hydraulics. Even on the cab, they have the little port to come through. But on the back, you've got your standard glass, your turn signals, you've got your air condition up in the roof to it. You can add rear work lights and all sorts of accessories to the back. So let's take a look at the cab. So if we look at this cab here, it's going to have almost the same operator station as the open station, except for now there's glass. Woo, which also means you can have the most important part of a cab, which is climate control, air condition, heat. This one doesn't have a radio in it yet, but it will have one when it is sold. And in the cabs and everything, which I didn't mention over there, in a cab, you have tilt steering column, which is very nice. Your open station does not have that. That is a standard steering column. And in the cab, your loader joystick is actually back a little bit closer to you. It doesn't stick out front. It's a little bit more comfortable. Same overall tractor, just has the extra glass to it. Same controls you can see here on the gear drive, same exact layout. Your buttons there, you can add your work lights and everything like that to it. Of course, keeps the yellow jackets out. So a cab is usually about a, don't quote me too much, about a $9,000 option. So if you can justify the heat, the AC, and the lack of bugs stinging you, a cab is well worth it. It does steal a little bit of power because it's got to run it and it's a little bit heavier. So let's talk loaders real quick, because this one has a nice heavy duty bucket on it. These loaders have the universal quick attach style coupler to them. You pull these two levers, the bucket pops off. You can do grapples, pallet forks, bale spears, whatever you want to. The loader is an LA 1065 loader, which means it'll pick up rated operating capacity at 1,065 kilograms, which is about 2,300 pounds. Now the bucket breakout force on this is a little over 3,000 pounds. So if you calculated the weight of your bucket or your pallet forks, plus all the stuff on front, you can pick up off the ground just over 3,000 pounds. You won't get it up much farther than a foot off the ground, but you could do it if you're moving something very heavy. Overall use, daily use, say 2,500 pounds is standard for this loader, and you can push the limits a little bit. But having it quick attach, having it heavy duty, having some nice heavy duty versus standard duty buckets options on it is very handy. And then we're gonna look at this MX6000 Hydrostat version. This one's actually used 35 hours, still worth $39,500. So they keep their value very well. A Hydrostat, realistically the same operator station, same floorboard and everything like that, but now you have your brake pedals on the left, your Hydrostat pedal, your forward and reverse right here, and on this side, low, medium, high range. So you have a 3-range transmission, and this lever is actually cruise control. Not often it's used, but if I push this lever forward, you can actually watch that pedal move right there, because I have cruise control, which is really cool on it. So if you're doing a lot of bush hogging or something like that, you can utilize it. You can honestly pull up to a 10-foot bush hog. I've had people pull 12-foot bush hogs. If you have a lot of hills and slopes, that's not ideal. So, you know, your low range is going to be for your heavy work, your medium range is going to be for your mowing, high range for getting across the property quick, which is why it's in high range right now for this video. And these MXs have very good visibility. So because you have a large open station, on the cabs you have a little bit less visibility, you can really see around you very well, hear everything and see everything that's going on. So the utility tractor is there for heavy work, but not too heavy work. If you're a farmer with 200 acres, this would be like a backup tractor or a raking tractor or moving hay around. It's a lot easier to get in and out of than a big tractor, but also way more powerful than the tractor series below it, like the L series. So these utility tractors are exactly that. They're there for utility. Get some heavy loader work. It's easy to use the 3-point hitch. It doesn't have a ton of fancy features like our Grand L series, where you have all sorts of fancy deluxe features and computer screens and everything like that. It's a simple, basic, about as reliable as you can get to. And you can choose your horsepower options, you can choose your, you know, drivetrain options and everything like that. They're all 4-wheel. Everything I stock is a 4-wheel drive, that 4-cylinder turbo diesel. So if you're looking for a good, solid, reliable one, now you need to choose, do you need only 50 horsepower or do you want the 60 horsepower? What transmission, and do you want a cab or an open station? Pros and cons to each. But of course, if you have questions that I didn't answer in here, feel free, reach out, let us know. Thanks for watching.